Today I'm looking at the tailgate on my 2001 Dodge Dakota pickup truck, and the problem here is another in the never-ending saga of things that rust that you wouldn't expect to rust. So here on the left side of the truck there should be some sort of post or something that protrudes from this side of the sheet metal that the tailgate hooks into, but you can see that that rusted off and is now stuck in the tailgate, which is causing it to not sit in there properly. On the other side, it looks like whatever's over here is still intact. There's some sort of bushing, I'll call that for lack of a better word, that must sit over a similar pin on this side. Okay, so the first thing I think I'll do is try and use a pair of pliers to pull this section out. Looks like there's some kind of rubber thing inside of that. That feels like it's got a plastic coating on it. And of course this may require me to set the camera down and use two hands, so I think I'll do that, but you get the idea of what I'm up to here. Okay, so what ended up coming out of the tailgate was this plastic sleeve and this rubber insert. And I'll just kind of show on this side what it's supposed to look like. So this is the rubber or the plastic sleeve, and then the rubber insert goes inside of this. And that is what it should look like, and that one still looks like it's in pretty decent condition. I think what I'm going to try and do is grind this down so it's flush with the side of the truck. Okay, so I guess the next thing I'll do is try this cheapo angle grinder I've got and see if that takes care of this. If not, I will break out the air tools. Okay, there you can see I've got it pretty well ground down with the cheapo angle grinder. Okay, so I'm going to try the Dremel tool now, see if this works on the paint. It's been a couple days since I last looked at the truck here, and my original plan was to try and find a 5/8 cap head bolt or socket head bolt with a round head which would fit right into here. I think those bolts have roughly a 0.95 diameter head, which would fit nicely inside of there, which is about 1 inch in diameter. But I haven't been able to find anything like that locally. I suppose I could order it and get it shipped here, but I started fooling around and I decided I'm going to try something else first. I found a bolt in my junk box and a couple of nuts here. This is some sort of metric bolt. I'm not sure exactly what size it is. I haven't measured it, but it fits nicely or reasonably well inside the plastic cap that was in here originally, and then fits kind of snug right in here. So I thought maybe if I just bolted this in place where the old stud was here, that might work. So I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. Okay, so I showed previously that I cleaned up and ground down this side of the stud, or what was left of it. But what I'm going to try and do now is use this file and go in from behind. I should be able to get in from back here and try and file the back end of it down somewhat so it's at least somewhat flat, so that when I bolt on there it's got a relatively good surface to bolt to. I think the other thing I'll do is pull off this tail light just to try and get a little more access behind here for the file and then for the bolt. So there's just two Torx head bolts here on the top and bottom. Now I should be able to just pull this right out of here. Might need two hands, but this should come out. I can unplug it and get it out of the way, and then maybe have some access for the file. Here it is with the taillight out of the way. These wires here are for an old cap I used to have on here. This ran the brake light on the cap, so those are just kind of in the way at this point. But you can see here's the back end of the flange. I'll just use the file and try and clean that up. I don't think I can get in there with the angle grinder. Okay, so you can see here I've got the bolt on, and I've got another nut here and a washer to kind of space this thing out enough so that the cap fits on here, similar to what's on the other side. And you can kind of see it sits on there. It does spin. I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. On the original post, of course, that would have been square and that would have not spun, but we'll see how that works. And then you can see on the back side, here if I can get the camera in there, I've just got a heavy washer up against the remains of the flange that I filed down, and then another nut, and just tightened it all up pretty good. So I guess I'll just throw the tailgate on here and see if it works. Okay, I've got the tailgate on, and everything looks pretty close to being aligned here as it is. So I'm just going to try to close it, check for any binding. I don't see any binding on the edge, so that must mean it's somewhat lined up anyway. And it closed pretty well there. Okay, now I'll check and see if it opens up. It seems to work fine. The latch didn't bind or anything like that, so it seems like this is going to work. I don't know about the plastic piece there. Of course, that's now pivoting on the bolt over there instead of on the round part of the inside of the hinge. So that may wear out over time, but those are available as replacement parts, so I can always change those if I need to. Okay, so that seemed to be a successful repair. I've got the tail light back in, but what I'm going to do now is take the tailgate back off and get a little paint on that bare metal that I exposed there so it doesn't rust up on me. But other than that, I'd say this is going to work out just fine for this ratty old truck. Hopefully this video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Thanks.